Shalom Israel, this is the ISUPK, started on West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We've established since 1969, and since 1969, we teach the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indian their true history, heritage, and culture according to the Bible. This Friday night's Lashawan Qadash class. First, we'll start off. Sis, I want you to come up here and write out the. You don't have the Assyrian, or do you? We'll start off practicing writing the Assyrian if we can. All right, so since we got two people in here now, do you have notes on the Assyrian?
On the Assyrian?
Mm-hmm.
No. Why?
Do you have notes on Lashawan Qadash?
Yes, but not in this book.
Okay. I'll do the Assyrian. I want you to do the Lashawan Qadash. Okay?
Where's the Assyrian?
You got the Assyrian?
Yeah.
You want to do both?
Okay.
Start with the Lashawan Qadash first. Write the Lashawan Qadash characters first. You're going to just write them down. Then you're going to erase them. And then we're going to switch over to the Assyrian. I don't know how well y'all can see that though, man. It's kind of a glare on the screen.
I can see this.
You go ahead. So it's visible. Without the glare. It's a super glare. Your eyes backwards, Slock. Here.
It's always backwards.
Do we open our books from right to left? When we read in the Hebrew, the writing, we reading from right to left. You don't necessarily have to open your book from right to left. You can write from left to right. But generally speaking, we open our books and we read from right to left. Just if you have any questions, I'll answer them as well. Hey, let me know if y'all can see the screen. I mean the board on StreamYard about the show. I can't really tell. Glare. If it's a glare or not. Almost like it'd be better without the light. So. No, that's not no better. I just need to get these over here lights fixed. That's a lot. I don't know, y'all in here. Tell me, is it easier for to see when they have the light on or off?
I like the light on.
Okay.
Yes.
So lock it, everybody online. Y'all kind of just want to bear with the glare. Just more of a sign that you need to get in class physically. Because there really ain't nothing I can do about it at this moment. So you think your car is too small? Salakia, come on. Can y'all hear me? Look like my sound might have gone out. Can y'all hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I hope it ain't go out. All right. Ba, your God. So you have it shaped like a Y in the Assyrian, right? It's the same basic shape, but not so dramatic, so drastic. So it's like a mountain peak. You see? Instead of going that way and then down, it's that way and then out.
Come.
All right. If you need a scripture broke down, just put the 1 in the chat, and I'll break it down for you, sis. All right, so we got ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ka, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, kaza, kwa, ra, sha, and fa. Good job. Go ahead and write that down, sis. And when you're done writing it down, then I'll go ahead and swap over to the Assyrian. I'll erase those and swap over to the Assyrian. I don't think I can be heard in the chat. I need to get my other phone. Go ahead.
I had a question.
Okay.
My question is, do anybody have the Ark of the Covenant today?
No. The last time, according to the scriptures in the book of Jeremiah, the last time we saw the Ark of the Covenant, the Moabites took it. And it's been gone since then. People have what they say is the Ark of the Covenant, but it's not really the Ark of the Covenant. How do you know that it's not really the Ark of the Covenant?
I was thinking, like, I had seen it online, and that's what I was thinking of, like, because people would die when they, like, would look at it, even touch it, and stuff like that.
That's the biggest thing, when they touch it, right? So the Lord allowed them to ransack the kingdom and take the Ark of the Covenant because we were disobedient. But it was never intended for the heathens to have ever. You know what I'm saying? So by them having it, that just meant that they conquered us and took it from us. But it was only a matter of time for the Most High to send an angel. I won't say which angel, but an angel. I think it was Michael. I think the scripture do say Michael was the one who came and got it. One of the archangels came and got it in the book of Jeremiah. You have to read through the book of Jeremiah, but one of the archangels came and got the Salakia. What's it called?
The Ark of
The Ark of the Covenant, the water. Yeah, one of the angels came and got it. All right, so let me go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and 11 real quick. The sister want to break down that. Let's see, Second Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 11 through 13. Verse 11, it says, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men, but we are made manifest unto God. And I trust also, and I trust also are made manifest in your consciousness, your consciences. Slakia. Verse 12, for we commend not ourselves again unto you, but give you occasion to glory on our behalf, that ye may have somewhat to answer them which glory in appearance, and not in heart. Verse 13, for whether we be beside ourselves, it is to God, or whether we be sober, it is for your cause. So you can't just stop at verse 13. You got to read down a little bit further. Well, first, let's start up a little higher. We started at 11. Let's start at verse 1. It says, for we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, and house made not with hands, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens, right? So what is that talking about? What do y'all think that's talking about? The house that's not made by hands, but eternally in heaven. What are they talking about? It's talking about the kingdom, right? Right? It's talking about the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God, right? Verse 2, for in this we groan, earnestly desiring to be clothed upon with our house, which is from heaven. Like it just said, it's in heaven, right? It's saying that we're desiring to be clothed with the glory that's in heaven, right? To be clothed in that glory is not magic, it's not mystical, it's not nothing weird. It's literally to be clothed in the spirit, right? To have that spirit on your spirit, on you, right? The spirit of the Lord. Verse 3, it says, if so, be that being clothed, we shall not be found naked. So being found naked is being found in shame, right? An example of that is when you go to the book of Genesis chapter 3, where it talks about how Adam and Eve they said that they put on, made garments for themselves out of the leaves of the other trees because they were so-called naked. And the Most High, and then they said, God asked them, how do you know that you was naked? They know that they was naked, not literally physically naked, but they were spiritually naked. Meaning they was ashamed. They was ashamed of the things they was doing. You know what I'm saying? They was exposed to being not following the law. And that's the same thing that's talking about right here. It says, if so that being clothed, we shall not be found naked. So we're earnestly praying for the Most High to send His Spirit upon us to cover us so that we can be clothed and not be found naked, not be in shame. You know what I'm saying? Not be ashamed. Why would we be ashamed? Because we're not following all such commandments, which they was doing, which they weren't doing rather in Corinthians, right? Verse 4, it says, for we that are in this tabernacle do groan. No, Slakia, already read. No, yeah. Verse 4, it says, for we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened. For not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up of life, right? So your mortality is, think of mortality as like you being in the world and you subject to the things that could kill you. But why are you subject to them things? Let's say drugs, for example, gang violence. You're subject to them things because you put yourself in them situations by not following the law. The law is meant to prevent you from that. That's how you have life. But now you're facing your mortality because you done allowed yourself to be put in these situations where now this drug usage can kill me. This gang violence I can become a victim of because I allowed myself to be subject to this thing, right? Like now you're facing your mortality. Verse 5, it says, now he that hath wrought us for the self same thing is God, who also hath given us, it's like it says, who also have given unto us the earnest of the Spirit, right? So obviously it's saying the earnestness of the Spirit, meaning we desire in the Spirit. He gave us the desire to have the Spirit, so we desire not to, so we ain't just stuck in that way, stuck exposed and open and naked to the wiles of the world. You know what I'm saying? That's going to lead to our death. So we ain't stuck on our mortality. Verse 6, it says, therefore we are always confident, knowing that while we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Lord. Verse 7, for we walk by faith, not by sight. And that's the key point to that previous two verses. That's the key point to all of everything. We walk by faith and not by sight. So even though we don't physically have this outward showing that we have the Spirit of God on us, but we have it in us. You know what I'm saying? So we walking by faith and not by sight. Verse 8, we are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Most High. So we choosing to say we're going to forgo the pleasures of the body to serve the Lord, basically, is what that's saying. Verse 9, wherefore we labor that, whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. That's pretty plain. That's plain right there. Verse 10, we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ. So now I was getting to the sister's question, which she wanted broken down, right? The first part of that verse, it says, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ. The reason why we read everything leading up to this, so you can understand the context, is talking about why we seek after righteousness. Why are we seeking after righteousness? It just said it so we can, because we all have to appear before the judgment seat. So like before the judgment seat of Christ. It says that everyone may receive the things done in his body according to that he have done, whether it be good or bad. So we're seeking after righteousness and seeking to be clothed so we're not dealing with facing our mortality. So ultimately, so that when when judgment day come, we ain't standing there looking stupid because we chose sin as opposed to choosing life. You get what I'm saying? All right. Verse 11, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord. So how do we know the terror of the Lord? We think about the things that he's done before. Paul wrote in an earlier verse, he said, the things that are written before time were written for our learning, right? And that all that was written before time was all the terrible things that the Most High did to us to punish us because we was disobedient, right? So we know the terror of the Lord, right? So verse 11, it says, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men. So we persuade men how? By going out and proselytizing. Proselytizing is going out and teaching people, telling them to come serve the Most High, follow the Most High, follow the law, statutes, commandments, right? Salakia. It says, knowing therefore the terror of the Lord, we persuade men, but we are made manifest unto God, and thy trust also are made manifest in your consciousness. So we know that we made manifest through our actions by proselytizing, by teaching this truth to the Most High. We've made manifest to Him. We know that, but we trust in that by doing this, that we're also in your mind. So this is imagine Paul. He's writing a letter, but imagine this. Imagine if you could, Paul standing here like me, and he's teaching a classroom full of people. And he's telling them that we proselytizing to y'all. We telling y'all all the truth about our heritage and about God. But we know that the Most High is already gonna have mercy on us for doing this. But we hoping that you are taking this in. We hoping that you are sucking it in. You growing and hoping that you learn, right? That's why it says, where is it at? It says, and I trust also are made manifest in your conscience. So we're trying to manifest ourselves in your conscience. Manifesting ourselves in your conscience don't mean trying to get in your head. We're trying to get our words, what we're saying, to stick in your mind. Literally trying to wash your brain. You get what I'm saying? Verse 12, for we commend not ourselves again unto you, but give you occasion to glory on our behalf. So what that's saying is that I'm not going to keep pounding it into your head. I'm going to give you a chance to acquire your own glory on my behalf, right? On my behalf, mean I done taught you all these things. Now you taking what I've taught you, and you're using what I taught you so you can acquire glory, right? It says that ye may have somewhat to answer them which glory in appearance and not in heart. So now when people see you and they glory, the people that glory in appearance, that only believe what they see you, the changed person, the changed brother, the changed sister, and then they be like, oh, okay, you really is doing something different. What's that thing that you into? Let me go check that out with you. I see how it done changed you. I want to change. And maybe you can help me out, right? So that's what it says. So it says that ye may have somewhat to answer them which glory in appearance and not in heart. Because deep down in their spirit, they really don't care. They just like what they see. They don't care what it really means to actually suffer this truth. They just care about what they see, the appearance of it. That's all they're worried about. Verse 13. For whether we be beside ourselves, it is to God, or whether we be sober, it is for your cause, right? So being beside ourselves, it is to God. So us going above and beyond to make sure that you get this truth, it don't matter if we doing it, it could come off as offensive. We doing it and it's for the Most High. That's all that matters. So some people ain't gonna like it when we give this truth out. Some people don't like it when we go out in the streets and teach, or we go on this computer and teach. But we do it for the Most High. We beside the Most High, so it don't matter. And then it says, and whether we be sober, it is for your cause. We standing sober and doing this, standing sober, not saying not drinking. It can apply to that too. But what this context is talking about, staying sober, is staying clear-minded, staying focused on the truth. So we're saying while we being that way, we're doing this for your cause. You ever heard Captain Cobb say that bar in one of his songs? He said, you asked me how, what did he say? You asked me how I still get up and do it. Something to the effect of you asked me how I do it every day. And I told him it's because of you, my nigga. That's the same concept. I get up and I do it like this because of you. It's the exact same thing what it's saying. It's saying whether we be sober, it is for your cause. The reason why we doing all this is for you and for your cause. It's like,
You know that about you know that like basically off the top of your head, don't you?
But this,
Mhm.
that's a little bit, just visual, but I ain't good again. Still not like I should. Need to learn this Syrian.
It's like I can learn the translation with the English words, but that's what it when it's getting down to the signs.
The characters.
Yeah, the symbols I can
How you about to
Well,
copy and grasp.
he just told me just writing it.
Okay, yeah.
All
All right, if you could grab that chair right there, that we can see the board. I'm gonna get you something to write with, take notes with. Do we have another notebook?
Yes.
What's this? Bring it to me, about for sure. Yeah, somebody else's notebook. What we're doing right now, this is Lashawan Qadash class, the Hebrew class, right? So right now I'm breaking it down. I was just breaking down a scripture for a sister. Let me see. So like your sister, we got a what she say? She say, so in faith, by doing, we are reconciled to the Most High. Exactly. That's the whole gist of what that's saying. But it also requires that faith requires action. You get what I'm saying? All right, Salakia. So yeah, so what we're doing, you know anything about the Hebrew at all? First, do you have any questions?
Under the take in.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, it's open. So just raise your hand like that, and I'll get to you. All right. But the sister's gonna get you something to write with, and I'm gonna take these notes real quick. What we have right here is Lashawan Qadash, right? So you got two versions of Hebrew. You got really you have three, right? You have what this comes from, the pictographical. Oh, I got a better one for you. I can use this paper. Which one?
right.
Yes, that one. But I have one in the folder. What else is? This. You can have this and take this with you too, so you can study. But like I said, the Hebrew is a pictographical language. Before it was this, and then it got turned into this. This is the Lashawan Qadash, the Paleo Hebrew, right? And then after this, you had the Assyrian. After you write these notes down, then I'm gonna switch over to the Assyrian so you can get it, right? But so when we write in the Hebrew, you start from the right to the left all the time. So it's ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, kaza, kwa, ra, sha, and fa. Right? Those are all your characters. And you notice how some of these characters look like English characters, like the I. It looks like an A. You get what I'm saying? You got the za, it looks like the Z. Even the Y looks like the Y. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you know that this language predates all. That's partially how you know this language predates all other languages, right? All languages are breakoffs of this language. Not all of them. The vast majority of languages in the earth are breakoffs of this language, right? There is 2 or 3 that I pick off the top of my head that don't come directly from the Lashawan Qadash, but they do come from the Paleo Hebrew that predates this. The character, the pictographical language that predates this. Right. So let me know when you write all these down. I'll erase these characters and then I'll write the Assyrian. Or I'll let the sister come over and write the Assyrian. If you want to do it? Okay, so when you write all these down, then I'm gonna erase these. Let the sister come up. She's gonna write down the Assyrian. So you're gonna have 2 sets of notes today. Go ahead, sis.
And then I have one more question.
All right.
So I was reading and it was saying how they have to take off their shoes in the temple.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so why don't we do that like here?
The reason why do you think they were taking their shoes off in the temple?
It said
You read that in Leviticus, right? I'm sorry, in either Leviticus,
Isaiah.
Numbers, or Exodus. In Isaiah?
Yeah, I think it was Isaiah.
Why were they doing it in Isaiah?
It says it was on the holy ground.
What were they doing in Isaiah? In the book of Isaiah, what were they? What were the Israelites doing?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
They was in captivity, weren't they?
Gotcha.
To the Babylonians, if I'm not mistaken. If that was the case, then they took their shoes off because they were doing what in Babylon? They was slaves. So they took their shoes off when they came into the temple because no matter what, the temple still is it's still like having the holies of holies like we had in Leviticus, but we don't have it as a single tent now. It's the whole temple. And then during the time of from Babylon to the Persians, the Babylonians destroyed the temple, and then the Persians, I forget his name, started with Silas, Cyprus. I can't think of his name, but one of the Persian kings allowed us to go and rebuild our temple. Right, Isaiah's time is in that gap in between time. Right, and so because of that, he was still a slave, but it wasn't as bad as it was during Jeremiah's time, when they were slaves. So they still had to upkeep the temple, and they was trying to upkeep the temple. But you have to remember that the school wasn't as strong as it was during the time of Ezra and Nehemiah. So them trying to keep up the temple also meant, you know, they had to go out and do other work as well. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't just focus only on the temple. So they were trying to get back into our culture is what they were doing. Now you good, man. Take your time. I was only gonna teach for an hour, but now we got another person in here, so now I gotta make something happen. You ready? I'm gonna go ahead and teach a whole full class. I actually have a whole topic I wanted to get to tonight anyway. I get distracted sometimes. I get sidetracked. All right, sis, you want to come up here and write the Assyrian?
Okay.
Now, the Hebrew that she's about to write now, the characters that she's about to write now, they are the same characters, and you can translate the modern Hebrew into this Hebrew that you just wrote, that you just took notes down. They're the same characters, and they all mean the same exact things, but there are some special characters, and we're going to get into them as well. It's a bastardized version of our language. Oh, I'm sorry.
You said what kind?
It's a bastardized version of our language.
Bastardized?
Yes.
Okay, just make sure
Now, you know what a bastard is?
in English,
Mm-hmm.
what they call it? A son got a father.
Exactly. And a son without a father is what?
A bastard.
He's a bastard, yes, but he's also disorderly. He's disorganized. He's not brought up the way he's supposed to be. He's kind of crooked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why we say they bastardized our language. They took our language. If it was made by us, written by us, it would be written the way it's supposed to be written. Instead, now you get characters like this. Now look, stop. That don't look nothing like the eye, does it? The one you go down, the original. No, Salaki, you too hard. But what she wrote don't look nothing like the actual eye that's in the Lashawan Qadash. The reason why that is because, again, they bastardized our language. The Babylonians did it, the Assyrians did it, and that's how we ended up with this. And then the white man who calls himself the Jewish man, he put the dots on there and added vowels. Now, when you add them dots, you change how words are pronounced completely. I believe they call it commits. Okay. So I can start you speak on the drones over New Jersey. You gotta tell me about the drones over New Jersey, sis. I haven't really been keeping up with that. I've been watching a lot of the World War III that's going on. I know Syria has been put under martial law. Yeah, they've been having civil war over there for the past couple, to my knowledge, past few years, but recently they got put under martial law.
Isn't martial law like something where they basically like the army is out in the streets, they can come in your house?
It's more than that. It's that all the people are on lockdown. It's a controlled environment. They're controlling everything that the people in the populace does. And the reason why they're doing it is because on the verge of war with Russia, for aiding. No, I'm sorry, not Russia. Is it Russia? No, Israel. And they're on the verge of being at war with Israel for aiding with all of them different Arab countries. You know, Netanyahu don't just got a problem with Gaza no more. Now it done expanded to almost everybody over there. Everybody who's brown skinned over there, he has a problem with. And Netanyahu don't want peace. He wants war. He wants violence. Have they replaced the previous leader? Which leader are you talking about, sis? Are you talking about the one in Israel or the one that got murdered in Hezbollah? And as y'all can see, she's starting to get into where she's writing down special characters. So she got 2 characters for the cop. Whenever she finishes writing, I'll get all of them for you. That way I can explain it. The previous leader for Syria. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research into that, sis. That fled to Russia. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. I didn't even know nothing about that. I ain't heard nothing about that anyway. So I'm definitely gonna look into that. You just put me on game. Now I got something to look into, to research. You good so far? Mm-hmm. Do this better. There you go. It was just seeing. It was hard to really tell what it was. Mm-hmm. There you go. Mm-hmm. Well, that's right. It's crazy. You got better notes on the Assyrian than you do on Lashawan. Mm-hmm. That's right. Rasha and Tha. Your Tha is the only one that's wrong.
It looks like an R in cursive. It looks like
It's gonna look just like your Ka, except the curve.
it looks like a cursive R.
There you go. Good job.
Go.
So she got the Ah, the Ba, the Ga, Da. Oh, hold on. Slack it. Your Da ain't necessarily wrong. I'm gonna make it look better. When you write your Da, it's gonna look just like your Ra, except longer across the top on the back side. You see, so your line ain't so centered.
Come on, sir.
Right.
What, sir?
Handlebar. Ha. Make sure you put the space in between the two lines. Wa, Za, Cha, Ta, Ya. Make sure your Ya is small. Otherwise, it's gonna look like it could look like a Ra. It could be misconstrued for a few characters. Now, this one gets your special characters, right? You got the Ka, and then you also have this Ka. This first one that looks like a backwards C is for if the character is anywhere but in the end of a word. So if a word ends if a word ends in Ka, instead of using that character, you'll use this other alternate character, right? La, same rule applies for Ma and Na. If a word uses the Ma at the end, you'll use the alternate character. Otherwise, you'll use the primary character. It could be first character, second character, third character in a word, as long as it's not the end. If it's at the end, then you use the alternate character. Sa, I, Pa, and Taza both follow the same rule. Kwa, Ra, Cha, and Fa. And those are all of your Assyrian characters, right? Now you see how overly complicated this is versus the Lashawan Qadash versus the Hebrew, but you still see there's an essence of the Hebrew still in there, the Paleo Hebrew still in there. You got it in the Shah, you have that in the Ra and the Ba being basically the same character except how the bottom is shaped. You even have the that's really about it. Because all the rest of them just look completely different. Right? So do anybody have any questions before we erase this? You got all of it written down? Y'all all have it written down?
No.
Sign Christ. All right, I'm finna erase this, and then we're gonna learn some tenses. Brother, you came at a good time, but not really at a good time because now we're on today is part 2 of tenses. So I already did future tense. I already did present tense and past tense. Today I'm doing future tense. So you gotta get thrown in there. But if you keep coming to class in 10 weeks, I'm gonna cycle back. I have a curriculum that's roughly 10 weeks long. And every week I teach something different. But eventually it's gonna cycle back to me starting over. Just basics. But again, like I said, if you got any questions about anything though, I answer all questions. It don't have to be about this, it could be about the Bible, it could be about history. Whatever questions you have, I'll answer them. But the class focus is Lashawan Qadash, right? So bear with me. I use notes for tenses. There's a whole lot to remember. Slow. All right. Future tense. Future tense. What does it mean to speak on something in the future tense? Who is this?
It will happen.
It will happen. Keep that in mind. Will happen. Will happen. Right? It's something that will happen, something that you will be doing, something that you're going to do, right? The word for future in the Hebrew, for the record. So use your notes to translate what I'm about to teach you in the Assyrian into the Lashawan Qadash. I'm only going to teach you in the Assyrian because the vast majority of what you see in active real time will be the Assyrian. It won't be the Lashawan Qadash. The Lashawan Qadash will be as if you're looking through history, you're looking at ancient stones, ancient artifacts, then you'll see the Lashawan Qadash. But as far as if you want to know what the Jewish man is talking about in the world, in the news, stuff like that, in newspapers, stuff like that, or when you watching movies and you see some Hebrew written down somewhere, you want to know what to say. That's the purpose of me teaching y'all Assyrian, focusing on the Assyrian. But you know the Lashawan Qadash, so you can take the Assyrian and go use your notes and translate everything you wrote back into the Lashawan Qadash if you choose to. It gives you some homework, right? So the word for future is Ifayad. Yad. Who want to come up here and try to write this word down using the characters, using your notes? Ifayad. Go ahead, sis. I'll let her do this. Come up this time. You can use your notes too. Ain't no shame in using your notes. That's why we take notes, and that's why I encourage note taking and using notes, because it forces you to look at it and keep looking at it and keep looking at it. And by doing that, you're studying and you're studying and you're studying.
Okay. But I don't see a YAD.
So if you don't see a yad,
Just do the
you do
YAD.
see a yad. You do have a yah and you have a dot, right?
Oh, okay.
So you'd have to connect them. But remember, you're writing from right to left. So start like way over here.
Can I do it right here like that?
Or do it right up under it. Yeah, so like from here over. Remember, the word is Ifayad. Mm-hmm. So you have I and you have Tha. Now the challenge is writing the Yad, right? So when you're making words, go ahead, keep going. You're on the right path. I ain't gonna stop you. When you're making words, you have to use logic to connect characters. La. You close. This is wrong. We'll try again. The last character is the dot. You're looking for your dot character.
D-A, right?
Kind of. Oh no, that's the last one. Okay, so you mix them up together. That dot is actually supposed to be the guy.
Okay.
This dot is the one I explained. It's gonna be a little longer than your rock. It's like the rock, but it's a little longer. Right, but otherwise, good job, right? So you got I, Tha, Ya. Give her a hand. Good job. So what you did here, and I'll write it in the Lashawan Qadash, because in the Lashawan Qadash we have what's called connectors, right? The connectors show you how to actually connect it. You see how we got these lines, we write it in English, we separate it. The connectors will show you how to connect it in the Lashawan Qadash. So we'll translate this into the Lashawan Qadash. You got I, Tha, Ya, and Da. This is how you have to look at it. Before you add any connectors and try to connect anything, you look at what you have on the board, at your word, right? You have I, Tha, a Ya, and a Da. Like Sister said, there is no Yod character, but there is a Ya and there's a Da character. So you write them all four down. So instead of having three, you have four characters. And just at the end, those last two connect. So you got I by itself, Tha by itself. The Ya and the Da are connected. By them connecting, that Da loses. Okay, so Ya, right, is that. And Da is that, right? But when we have them together and we connect them, it doesn't become Ya, Da. It becomes Yod. You get what I'm saying? The Da, the last character drops its I, basically. It's A. It drops its A, if that makes sense. So it becomes it becomes pronounced shorter as opposed to being fully pronounced. That makes sense? The only way that you'll change that is if you add a ha to the end. This ha, this character, all it does, it functions as a vowel in English does. If you have an E at the end of a word with vowels in it, then it elongates those vowels. The exact same thing is true for this ha, except it only works on the character that precedes it. So for example, the word I'll, right? That word in Hebrew, it means over, but in Hebrew it's written as I la. It's written as I la. That's I'll. But I la is a word. If you add a ha to the end, now it's not just I'll, it's I la. Does it make sense what I'm saying? That's okay. We'll get you up to speed. Did y'all understand what I'm saying though? We'll get you up to speed. Trying to go slow. All right, so y'all got this written down before I erase it. All right, come on. So I'll erase this too. You don't really need this. So the Hebrew word for future is Aithayad. Right? Now, when you get some free time, write down at the end of class, come over here, write down the possessive adjectives, the subject pronouns. You'll need these at all times. You cannot, your subject pronoun specifically determines how you conjugate your verb. Right? So depending on what your verb is, in this case, we're going to use shamar. Yeah. The verb we're going to use for the examples, for all of the examples to make it simple, is going to be shamar. Right? Which means, what does shamar read? Go ahead. Watch. Good job. It means watch. But how you conjugate that word is solely dependent upon what your subject pronoun is. Depending on which one of these subject pronouns precedes that verb, watch, it's going to determine how we write this word out. And you're going to see what I'm saying in a second, right? So the word for shamar in the Lashawan or in the Assyrian Salakia is Shah, Ma, Ra. Shamar. shamar. Right? So now the first subject pronoun is I or I am, right? So we're gonna say I will, because we're talking about what will happen. I will watch. Right? What is I? Yeah. And now, Salakia. So how we conjugate the verbs if it's I, the rule for it is you don't change the verb at all. If it's I, right? So it's anya shamar. Salakia. Wrote that wrong. Spelled that wrong. Shamar. Anya shamar. Right? So this two words literally mean I will watch. Right? Simple. But it ain't simple because future tense is overly complicated for no reason, and you're gonna see what I'm saying as we go. It's overly complicated for no reason, right? So you will watch. What's the Hebrew word for you in the singular? I'm sorry. Slaki. This you is masculine. Slaki. Now what'd you say? A thigh. Come on, give him a hand for the effort. They try to pronounce it. It's a thigh. Come on, a thigh. All right. Now, this you, and I'll put the other one up under here as well. You will watch. This one is going to be different because it's feminine, singular. Right? So the top one is masculine, and the second one, the bottom one, is feminine. Right? They both will be a fa because they're both you. But remember, like I said, your subject pronoun determines how you conjugate the verb. What we're changing is the verb, not the subject pronoun. It's still you no matter what, but it's you in a different tense, different context, masculine and feminine. By that being the case, the shamar will be different, right? So for the masculine, the you is fa shamar. Fa shamar. In the masculine. But in the feminine, since you're having a hard time seeing,
No, I'm confused.
what you confused about?
Okay, why is it thought?
Why is it fa shamar?
Uh-huh.
Because your subject pronoun is a fa.
So we not. Huh?
Which I told you, you have to listen. Future tense has its own special rules. It's like learning your ABCs. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So for the future tense, you will, a fa shamar is you will watch. If you don't have fa shamar, if it's just shamar, then if it does, then the phrase won't make sense grammatically because then it'll be you, and then it'll just be you watch. It won't be you will watch. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead, sis.
So on my own notes right here, there's previous notes stuff. But it says subject pronoun you and the masculine and masculine.
Yeah, this is what we're doing masculine right here.
It says brings the added thought to the beginning of the word.
Come on, that's what you're doing. You're adding thought to the beginning of the verb.
Okay,
It's tha shamar.
okay, just that's not. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, your notes are correct. So, like I said, each one will have its own individual rule. The rule for I, you do nothing to the verb. The rule for you, in the masculine, you add fa to the beginning of the verb. But for the feminine, you add fa, shamar, and then you add ya at the end. So it's fa shamar ya. Right? So put this in perspective for y'all. The word shamar is written like this. Sha, ma, ra, shamar, right? A fa shamar would be a, fa, a fa shamar.
So
Go ahead.
it's combining. Oh, so like what is it? Assyrian and that.
Right. So you got a fa shamar. But in the feminine, you're adding that ya to the end. So now you got fa, sham, fa, technically be fa, sha, mar, ya. The ya be by itself. That makes sense? Y'all see it? So what we have right here is the exact same thing as what we got right here. We have a fa right here, a, fa, ha, a fa. This is gonna be this good chance for me to teach you that a good example for me to show you what I was talking about. Remember how I said that ha, all it does is function as a vowel in English, and what an English vowel would do, where it elongates the vowel, the other vowels. The ha does the same thing, but only for the character that precedes it. So since this tha comes right before the ha, it changes the word, because this, if that ha wasn't there, this is a word. That's af. That's a word. But if you want to say a fa, if I want to say you, then I have to add that ha to the end to elongate the sound, the pronunciation of that fa. Because otherwise, it's just af. If you add the ha there, now it's a tha. And instead of being connected here, it's now connected there. That doesn't make a sound. All the thing it does is just make its whole sound. Does that make sense? What's that correct? Again, if you got any questions, there's never a bad question. And I'm not necessarily the greatest teacher. You know what I'm saying? I think it's best when if you have a question to ask whatever question. If I need to triple, quadruple explain things, I will. Is there a Hebrew ABC song? If you make one up, sis, then there will be a Hebrew ABC song. Make it up. If you can make it work and you can master the tongue that well and put it out there, brothers will sing it. All right, y'all got this written down for I erase it. All right. So that's the difference between the masculine and the feminine. It's the literal same word, only difference that for the feminine, you're adding ya to the end, right? The different two U's, right? So now we got he. We'll watch. We got he will watch. What's our Hebrew word for he? Try to pronounce it. What is this? Hawa. Technically you're wrong, actually. It's not Hawa. You want to try to pronounce it?
Alright.
No.
How?
Is it Hawan?
It's written right there.
There's A's on there.
You see how many A's are in there?
Ooh.
Hawaii.
Close.
Hawa.
Say it again, sis.
Hawa.
Hawa. Good job.
Good job.
Hawa.
Good job.
That's very important, right? So what y'all just did is you separated the ha. Y'all noticed that there's two A's in there, two I's, right? So if I was to write this out in the Hebrew, that would be ha, wa. If I was to write what y'all said first, y'all said hawa. That would be this, just hawa. But it's actually ha, wa, ah. You see, you have to add that extra I because that's a whole different word. That's what the double characters do. Same thing with like what's another word? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. There's a bunch of different words just like that. You know what I'm saying? They got double of the same character. Some of them have a double mot. Some of them have a double not. The same thing. It will be, well, no. In that case, then it'll be like none or Ma. You get what I'm saying? So it's Hawa'a Yashamar. For he. So what do y'all think the feminine will be? Hold on. I told y'all it's gonna be complicated. It's gonna get real confusing. Future tense is really. I don't personally like having to do future tense because it's hard to. It's not hard to explain. If you're not taking notes, you will get lost. And I'm about to show you how you about to get lost, right? So I asked y'all a question. How do y'all think she will watch? It's conjugated. First of all, what's the Hebrew word for she? Based off what we just did. Where it says
Haya'ah.
Haya'ah. Good job. Ha ya ah. Now, how do y'all think that shamar is conjugated though? I want y'all to try. I want each one of y'all to take a guess. And I already can tell you now, you're gonna get it wrong, but I want you to go ahead and try. Go ahead.
Haya'ah Dashamaya.
How do you know that?
Yeah,
I
go.
just from you teaching it.
That's a good try.
It wasn't right.
No, you're wrong.
Ah.
You're right on the beginning though. It's not Yashamar, it's Thashamar. Right? That stayed the same. But watch this. We got two more people in here. I want to see y'all try, and then I'll tell y'all what it is. You was close. You're wrong. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead. Thashamar, exactly. Well, how do you know that? These are notes. That's why it's important to take notes. Now you see how I just told y'all earlier that if it's masculine, then it's a Thashamar. The subject pronoun is very, very important because it determines how you conjugate your verb, right? The subject pronoun is you. In the masculine, then it's just a Thashamar. But you gotta notice, you gotta pay attention to what your subject pronoun is. Now we have the same conjugation for the word shamar, Thashamar. But it's different because your subject pronoun is different. Now, it's she will watch. If I just say Thashamar literally just means, will watch. It can just mean that, but it can't just mean that because if you don't know what your subject pronoun is, I could be saying she will watch, or I could be saying you will watch, and talking to a brother. You see what I'm saying? So it's very important. That's why I said, make sure that you have your subject pronouns written down and you're taking your notes, and then you can put them together. So when you practice, and you don't have to use the same verb. You can use, my favorite verb to use is ibad. What's ibad mean? Somebody yell at me. Work. Why is my favorite subject pronoun to use? I mean, it's like my favorite verb to use is because it's short and it's easy. If I want to add the wa, it would be wabad. You see what I'm saying? It's easy. It's easy to conjugate this verb. You just add and take away small one or two things, and it makes it different. Go ahead, sis. Good.
So we're just getting into the Y part?
No, that Y is different. No, that's past it. We ain't doing that.
It's like ING.
It's like it. Present tense. My bad. You are right. Done. I'm
Like-
jumping back now. So the Y added in there. If the word ibad, right, is written like this. It's like it's wrong Hebrew. The word ibad is written like this, right? Ba da. Ibad. It's written that way, right? That's work. If I want to say working, it becomes wa ba. See what I'm saying? You see how I added the Y as a second character? So if I want to say watching, what would I say? Instead of being shamar, what would it be? Mm-hmm. Remember, this went from, if this is work and this is working, it's I, wa, ba. instead of I buy. What was Shamar turned into for watching instead of watch? Because Shamar means watch. So how do I say watching? You know, you almost had it. Nope. You almost had it. Sha, Wa, Mar. You almost had it. You was close. Salakia. Hey, Lord Christ. No, I guess. All right, Lord Christ. All right, Salakia, y'all. Yeah, so you was close though. It's always gonna be the case, no matter what. If you want to say ing to anything, it don't matter what your subject pronoun is. You just add wa to your verb. I mean, you're doing it. It literally functions the same way as ing does in English. Doing instrumental Stevie Wonder Jungle Fever, sing it out. All right. So yeah, this is a good chance to teach y'all the importance of your subject pronouns, learning what they are, and how to actually properly use them. Because sometimes you're running the cases where it'll be like this, Lashawan, and the only way you'll know who you're talking to is based on the subject pronoun. You got a Lashamar, so you're saying that you talking to a brother, saying you will watch, or it'll be Hayya Fashamar. I'm talking to a sister. I'm talking about a sister, saying she will watch. Right? Y'all got all this written down? All right, erase all that. Done.
I have a question too.
Good.
If I was saying she watching, is it higher I watch them all?
Shower.
Start one more.
Mm-hmm.
So you put the wa in the middle of the word.
It's the second character.
It's the second character in the word.
Mm-hmm. At all cases,
So it's
wa.
ing.
I mean, the second character. But that's she watching, or she is watching, right? But if you want to say, well, yeah, that means, well, no, we ain't gonna get into that because that's going way off the rails. We gotta get into prepositions because there is a word that you can use to put in there. Is implied, and so in Hebrew, a lot of words are implied when we're talking to each other. You don't have to be literally every single word being said. You can say phrases, and the implication will still be there. For example, I'm going way off the rails here, but our Father, hold on. Okay, yeah, our Father, who art in heaven. Okay, our Father who art in heaven, right? The word, so I'm gonna really break this down. All right, so Father, right? It's the root word, subject, right? The Father is Abba. The word for Father is Abba. But we got a possessive word before it, before our subject. Our possessive word determines how we conjugate that possessive word, that subject. So now instead of being Abba, it becomes Abba Nawa, right? Your subject pronouns. Your possessive adjectives. You add these onto the end of whatever your subject is, right? So in this case, it's our, and our is Nawa, right? So it's Abba Nawa, which is our Father, Abba Nawa, who art in Slakin, who art in heaven. It's 4 words, right? But I'm about to give you is going to be 3 words, right? Shah is the who. Ba is the in. Shemayim is heaven, right? Shabbat Shemayim literally means who art in heaven, who is in heaven, right? You notice what word didn't get put down here? Get an arrow drawn to it? No. Art. Art literally, it literally just means is, right? But there is a word for that. There is a preposition for is, right? We're not going to go into that because today is not about prepositions, but there is a word for that. This is just I want to show you that some words in Hebrew are implied. So even though it doesn't say who are in heaven in Hebrew, it just says Shabbat Shemayim. We know Shah is who, Ba is in, Shemayim is heaven. So who's in heaven is what it's saying. Our Abinah Shabbat Shemayim, our Father who's in heaven. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. If you come tomorrow though, from 9 a.m. From 8 to 10 tomorrow, we do Sabbath service. You'll be able to, we say the prayers, and you'll be able to.
I know for now, I will be at work late tomorrow.
That's okay.
But I got you for now.
That's all right. Every other class is 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then we got a schedule. Monday is history. Tuesday is brotherhood. Wednesday is law. Thursday is scripture breakdown. And then Friday is Lashawan Qadash. And then Saturday is the Sabbath service is from 9 a.m. Normally it's from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. But because we got work to do afterwards, we starting it early, so it's gonna be 8 to 10 tomorrow. Where did I stop at? What was the last one I did? Chief.
Your she will watch.
Okay, so now we will watch. We will watch. Where is we? Good.
Anakawa?
Nope. You want to try to pronounce it? We need to get you some glasses, sis.
Not.
You almost there? Come on.
I know Snarl. Honor Snarl.
Nope. Go ahead, sis. I know you're gonna. I know you know what it is. Go ahead, sis.
Anaknoa?
Anak. Good job. Anak. So when you see the ch, it makes a cha sound, right? So it's anak Noah. Knock Noah. Now, for this, only in this case, when the subject pronoun is anak Noah, when it's we or us, then your verb will become na shamar. You're attaching a piece of the subject pronoun onto the verb there. It'll be na shamar. So we will watch. Right? It's a lot. Next, you have you will watch. Again, like I said, it's going to get a little complicated here because it's going to be completely different this time. Because now we're doing a you will watch and you will watch in the masculine plural. So talk to a group of brothers. And in the feminine plural. We talk to a group of sisters. Right? What is you masculine plural? Anybody. Except for you.
Is that ATHM?
Say it again. A thumb. Good job. A thumb. And what is you in the feminine plural?
Athan.
Go ahead, sis.
A
thumb. Good job. A thumb. So they be pronounced a thumb and a thumb. Right? You will watch in the masculine singular is what? What was it?
Uh, you will watch.
Use your notes. Let's give you a chance to refresh it in your brain. That's the only way you're gonna learn it is by constantly looking at it and recite, like saying it. Because otherwise, trying to just remember off what you wrote down 5 minutes ago, you're gonna forget. For you will watch in the masculine singular. It should be the second one we did.
With the he will watch.
No, you.
No, Shamar.
Tashamar. Good job. Now, it's Tashamar, because it's still you and it's still masculine. But what happened? Oh, the battery dying. Oh no. It's a lot. Give me 1 second, y'all. Got it. Hold it in there. Get in there. Okay. All right. So yeah, so it's a fa, dashamar, but we're gonna add a y to the end because it's masculine plural. Dashamar y because it's masculine plural. And then for the feminine, what was the feminine? You singular.
Shamar.
Fa, shamar. But instead of, you said it's dashamar what?
Yeah.
Ya. Instead of dashamar ya, it's fa shamar na. See what I'm saying? It has its own set of rules, and you just have to learn them. What's the matter? They have their own set of rules, and you just have to learn them. We got 2 more. Now we have they will watch. And we have, again, they will watch. One is singular, it's like one is masculine and one is feminine. Right? They, I don't have, and I need to stop, I need to put it on here. I don't have they on subject pronouns. I just realized that. But they are hum and han, right? So they in the masculine is hum. Write this down in y'all notes, in y'all subject pronouns section. And they in feminine is han. So just make sure you're writing this down too.
Yes.
I told you I was going to get real confusing. This is what I was talking about right here, right? They will watch is hum is the they, but the will watch is wa, shamar, ya. That y is new, but that ya on the end goes back to, it's similar to the you in the feminine, but this is masculine and it's plural. You know what I'm saying? So it again, you have to know subject pronouns because otherwise speaking the language is nigh impossible. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot to remember, but once you practice it, the only reason why it seems so complicated now because it's so different from English. English is actually more complicated than this by far, but it's simple to us now because we grew up speaking English or learning this, and so it's easy just to navigate through it. It's like riding a skateboard for the first time versus riding a waveboard for the first time. You can ride a skateboard forever. You never rode a waveboard, but that waveboard requires you to not tilt and lean. It requires you to wobble your legs. So now it's completely different. It's the exact same thing with learning how to conjugate verbs in the Hebrew versus doing it in the English. You know what I'm saying? So, Salaki, what? Yeah, I know how to ride a wave board. Yeah. You look like you was confused. Yeah, you didn't know that about me, huh? It's gonna be the wave riding for you. You hear me? So for the feminine, it's Han, Fa, Shamar. There's only one that really makes sense between the two. Ta Shamar, Na. And then it loses it at the end. It can't be Ya because the Ya is for the masculine, or it's supposed to be for the masculine. But then it's not. You know what I'm saying? So that's all of the subject pronouns. How to explain them. A thumb and a thun. Good job, sis. Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim. Good job, sis. Anak Nawah Shamar. We will watch. Exactly. I see you taking notes in the chat for people that ain't got the notes. But that is all of the future tense notes. That's all you need to know. The only difference is expanding your vocabulary and learning more verbs, right? You got words like Barak, and it'll all be the same rules all the time. You got words like Barak, which means bless. You got words like Ibad is work. I can't think of more on top of my head right now. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
Am I saying a word?
A verb.
Oh.
You got the word Pagai, means drop. What else you got? You got Quadawam. No, that means forward. You got Taza'ai, which means march. That's another verb, right? But yeah, so this is all your future tense verbs. So future tense conjugations. Using your subject pronouns, you can conjugate any single verb in this way, right? And if you come to class, matter of fact, if you come to class next week, brother, I will go back and go over past tense and present tense for you as well. That way you can have just the whole set of class, right? But any questions? Go ahead, sis.
One last question.
Go ahead.
On the they will watch.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying him watch Maria?
Hum.
Okay, so you saying hum watch Maria?
Wash Maria. So
or
that
just watch Maria?
hum, wash Maria.
Okay.
The wash Maria is all one word,
That's
right? So the word is shamar. Shamar. Wash Maria. So you add the wash at the beginning and the ya to the end. It's wash Maria. You see? Any more questions? Any questions, brother? You got any questions about the Bible? Any questions about any classes? Anything at all? Most saying first. Like a blank sheet of paper. It's good. All right. And with that, the ISUPK started 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Command Junior Hana. It's been Friday Night Lashawan Qadash class, and that's my time. Shalom.